What's up, guys? CHH here. We're going to get right into it. Of course, it'll be spoiler-free, and I will warn you before we get into any sort of spoilers for The Black Phone. But let's just dive right into this. The Black Phone, I thought it was good. I thought it was a good movie. I think this could end up being the best Blumhouse movie of the year. I know that Halloween Ends comes out this year, and I think there's another movie called They, Them that we have to look forward to. But this was good. This was good. I have a couple thoughts about it, but overall, I thought it was a good movie. I thought the performances were done pretty well. Everybody did a good job. Nothing that stood out way over the top for me, but I thought everybody was good. There was a cast of kids in this movie. Ethan Hawke is obviously the villain in this movie. There's a lot to praise here. So the simplest form of an explanation for the plot line is it's this small suburban town in America. It's the late 70s. You get to see what quaint family life is like. You get to see kids in school. And there's this disappearance going on with the kids one after another. And the cops could not figure out what is going on. We're seeing a lot of period pieces now. I think it's because of... People want to say it's because of like cell phone stuff to do with making movies harder to have villains do this kind of stuff nowadays. I think it's because of forensics. That and the nostalgia for it is pretty great. But we've got this guy that is abducting kids in this small town, and the cops are trying to figure out what's going on. And we get behind the eyes of this brother and sister who are the main stars of this movie. They have an alcoholic father, and I want to praise more about that performance with the alcoholic father. I thought he was the best performer in the movie. But they have to deal with that. They have to deal with a rough home life, as well as the brother getting abducted by what we know as the grabber in this movie. Now, the grabber is going to abduct this kid, and he's going to be in this bunker. We don't know where it's at, with this black phone, which is the name of the title, in this room. And on that black phone, he's going to start hearing from people in his own life that are almost apparition-like, in a sense, telling him things from his past and how they can help him get out. We'll leave it right there. Now, from what I understand, this is a short story. That's what I saw on the intro credits. The movie is based off of a short story, which I think was written by Stephen King's son, which is pretty cool. And also, Tom Savini did the mask for Ethan Hawke's character in here, the grabber's mask, which I can anticipate Trick or Treat Studios probably doing some releases of that down the road. All in all, I will say I thought the movie was good. I still am struggling if I feel the almost whimsical elements, the deeper than the what you would just call like the horror movie elements, as it were, with the sister's character and the kind of, you know, apparitions talking to our main character. I don't know if that felt a little disjointed from the realism that we were also feeling throughout this film. Rewatches would have to decipher that for me. But entertainment-wise, was I entertained while watching this movie? You damn right I was. I thought this was a great, fun, original IP from Blumhouse that was a really good hour and a half. This movie didn't feel too long either, so kudos to that. So I'm going to give this movie a B, okay? B. So without further ado, let's get into the spoilers. So Ethan Hawke's performance as the grabber, I thought it was good. I feel like I'm wanting a little bit more from the character, and the character obviously dies in this movie, so I don't think we're going to get much more unless that neck break wasn't a severe neck break that would kill him and they have an idea for some kind of sequel. But I think that Joe, the son of Stephen King, had talked about if this movie is successful, he has some sort of a sequel-esque idea. Now, what it would be and who would be involved in it, I don't know. But Ethan Hawke does good in this movie. He's a great actor. I was just funny. I was watching Dead Poet Society, and he was in that, and I enjoyed him in that. But he did a good job. I'm wanting more from the character. I was wanting a little bit more dialogue from him, but at the same time, I think wanting more is a good thing. It means that what we saw was good, and he did a great job, and I'm wanting to see more. So with that being said, I'd say he did a good job. I thought that the alcoholic father role was really good. There was a scene where he has to really go in hard on his daughter, and he's whipping her with the belt, and they couldn't hold back to give that sense of realism, and they did that. It was an uncomfortable scene. They did a great job with that. But also, the alcoholic father, once he gets his son back at the end of the movie, I like that he saw the error of his ways, and he's like, I have got to stop. I need to appreciate these kids that I have, even though my wife, she committed suicide because she was having these lucid dreams and visions that ultimately took her own life, which we explore with the daughter, and the dad comes to terms with that. That way he can help find their son too through the daughter's dreams. So they battled with that through the element. The father had a real time struggling, wanting to use the daughter's dreams and her, you know, connections with helping the police. Maybe that could be explored more in the sequel. I don't know. There's a lot of things that, you know, that was touched on in this movie, but I'm questioning more about, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Again, like I said, wanting more is something to I think it's could be a good element for a film when you're wanting to know more, wanting to see more. God knows that the first Halloween movie, all you want to do is question everything that goes on in that movie. But all in all, I thought it was a good movie, guys. I thought The Black Phone delivered a good hour and a half of entertainment. I thought the dread in the beginning of, you know, letting the town know that, you know, kids are disappearing was done fairly well. The music was fantastic. It was a good 70s timepiece. I thought it replicated the feel of the late 70s fairly well from seeing it from movies that actually took place were filmed in the late 70s. Obviously, I'm not old enough to have been there, but based on, you know, the atmosphere and feel, I thought that, in my opinion, they did a pretty good job. So, this is a good movie. I'd give this movie a B. This movie has gotten great praise on most review sites, and the fan scores on Rotten Tomatoes and things like that have been fairly high, and I guess I would be right up there with him, maybe just slightly below. I'd give it a solid B. It could go up or down with revisits. This is one of those movies that I'd love to revisit again. I'm already wanting to revisit it again to try to pick up on things maybe I didn't catch the first time. But I certainly recommend going to see it in the theater. It's a beautiful movie because it doesn't look Hollywood. Its movie is dark and gray. It's not bright and scenic. It's a very dull is not the word, but it's a very dense, dark-looking movie. Naturally, because a lot of this movie takes place in this like, you know, dingy concrete basement room. So, you know, kudos to that. This movie did not look very Hollywood, so that was great. So, you know, good movie. I enjoyed The Black Phone. There were some good performances there, some creepy elements, and also, like, you know, I can appreciate the deeper than kind of element with our main character going through all the phone calls in the Black Phone and talking to the other victims that were, you know, had succumbed to the grabber, but wanted to help him live so that they wouldn't die in vain. Cool stuff, cool stuff. I bet that the short read for the book is probably as good, if not even better, to be quite honest with you. So, from what I understand, this was relatively close to the writing. So, I think if you're a fan of that, you should be a fan of the movie, which is probably why the scores are probably pretty high for this too, I would have to imagine. So, go check it out, The Black Phone. Good movie. I wouldn't say great, but a good movie. Thank you to all my supporters on Patreon. To get behind-the-scenes photos, videos, and music, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month.